Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And throughout this week, I'm doing reviews for the entire Silent Night, Deadly Night series. And today, it's the 1989 film Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 Better Watch Out. Here is your trivia question for today. In the first two films, both Billy and Ricky tend to repeat the words naughty and punish. What is the only word Ricky repeats in this film? The answer will be at the end of this episode. In the third film, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 Better Watch Out, we meet a new character named Laura. Now, Laura is our main protagonist, and she happens to be blind. But she does actually have an interesting extra ability. She has been working alongside a Dr. Newbury, who has been having her help with something that is a bit out of the ordinary. You see, Laura apparently has some psychic abilities where she can travel into another person's mind. The mind that she's been traveling into for Dr. Newbury happens to be Ricky. That's right, our antagonist from the second film, although clearly he looks quite a bit different. While traveling into Ricky's mind, Laura has seen some terrifying things, but luckily she's going to be taking a break from that for a little bit. Because it's Christmas time, and she's going to be spending that holiday with her brother, his girlfriend, and their granny. However, a big issue occurs as Ricky manages to wake up. And to make matters worse, due to the connection that he has with Laura, he is beginning to follow her trail. So, will Laura and her family end up having a happy holiday together, or will Ricky show up with a Christmas surprise? This third film in the series ended up being rushed into production, as the original script that was going to be used for it was scrapped and then rewritten within a week. However, that scrapped script would end up becoming the fourth film. This was actually the first Silent Night, Deadly Night film that went straight to video. The movie was directed and co-written by Monty Hellman. In fact, Hellman even had a small cameo as the Santa from the hospital. This Santa was originally going to be played by Richard C. Adams, who plays Santa in Laura's dream sequence from earlier. But once Hellman saw the scene, he thought it was too mean-spirited and reshot the scene with himself in it, and then he added the drinking and crude jokes to make his Santa less sympathetic. Horror legend Bill Moseley plays Ricky in this film. They possibly reached out to Eric Freeman to see if he would come back, but I'm not surprised if he said no because still during this time he had a sour taste in his mouth for the second film. Samantha Scully and Laura Herring both auditioned for Laura and Jerry. Supposedly, the deciding factor was that Scully refused to go topless, and since Jerry had that bathtub scene, Herring received the role. Dr. Newberry's assistant was played by Melissa Hellman, daughter of director Monty Hellman. Apparently, she also helped draft the final script. It seems that the original plan was to have Robert Culp's character of Lieutenant Connolly be the same officer that shot down Ricky in the second film, despite it being a different actor. During the scene that takes place at the gas station attendant is watching the movie The Terror from 1963. The movie was filmed entirely in California. The body count for this film is 9, and quite a few of them actually occur off screen. You have the hospital Santa, then the hospital receptionist, then there's the truck driver, Craig, the gas station attendant, Granny, Jerry, Chris, who really ends up having a bad time, Dr. Newbury, and even Ricky, who gets taken out at the end. So when it comes to the film Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 Better Watch Out, I really did not enjoy this one whatsoever. One of the things that bothered me the most is I feel they wasted Bill Moseley. He's such a great, charismatic actor, but in this film, he barely talks at all, and he's basically brain dead with like no real reactions throughout the film. I also did not like Laura whatsoever. They did not make her even slightly likable, as she's just kind of rude to everyone, or at least is a little off putting. So I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 5. Now, if you did like this film, other movies I at least would recommend are Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood, The Cell, Home Sweet Home, and Christmas Bloody Christmas. Now it's time for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode. In the first two films, both Billy and Ricky tend to repeat the words naughty and punish. What is the only word Ricky repeats in this film? As I mentioned with the previous films, Billy and Ricky would always say naughty or punish, and it seemed to work really well in those scenes. This time around, the only thing that Ricky says is the name Laura. And it just becomes so weirdly irritating that he doesn't speak anything other than that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. If there's ever a movie that you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments.